Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Today we are talking about one of potentially the next big things to hit AI, which is, of course, GPT-5. There is a growing sense that this model is right around the corner and that it may be very significant. So today we're going to talk about everything that we know about it, how it might impact the AI space, and yes, a little tea leaf speculation around when we might actually get the thing. Now, GPT-5 has been coming soon for almost a year at this point, but the model that finally gets released will be very different from where it started. In the middle of last year, rumors started circulating about the next big models from OpenAI, codenamed Orion. Rumors in the fall were that the model was going to come as early as December, but it wasn't too long after that, in around November, that we started hearing about industry-wide issues around training, with a building narrative that pre-training had hit a wall. What we ultimately got in the place of a new flagship model in the series of GPT-3, 3.5, and 4 was instead OpenAI's first reasoning model, first O1 and then O3. Now, as we've previously discussed, the launch of reasoning models, it turns out, were a huge inflection point in the adoption of AI. A whole array of new use cases came online, enterprise adoption started going up significantly, and the new era of agentics became a viable possibility rather than just something for the future. Now, in and around the reasoning models, we did get a GPT 4.5. It clearly wasn't a big enough leap to warrant the title, and while the model was a niche hit among people who wanted a better LLM for writing, it failed to capture much attention or usage in the broader public. In fact, the model is actually being sunset in the API next week. Swix from Latent Space had this interesting observation, saying, "I think the quote-unquote failure of GPT 4.5 relative to O3 and O4 mini is actually fantastic validation of the bet on the reasoning paradigm. 10 to 100x larger model consistently lost out to smaller reasoning model for an important open domain task." And still, hold aside what's great about the reasoning models, the point is that there hasn't been a new OpenAI flagship in the series of GPTs for about a year now, and it's been over 2 years since they felt confident enough to herald a new generation of models with a full numerical upgrade from GPT-4. At the same time, the industry has changed quite a bit since the last time we got excited about GPT-5. Last fall, as we just discussed, the narrative was that scaling hit a wall, and people were really wondering if there was any more juice left to squeeze when it came to pre-training, or if we were just in the era of new methodologies like test-time compute, the reasoning era, and agentics with tool use being the vectors for improvement going forward. At this point now, 6 to 9 months later, there is a pervasive sense of optimism that AI is nowhere near its zenith, and that there are still plenty of avenues to pursue in order to improve the technology. Logan Kilpatrick, the head of product at Google AI Studio, recently posted, "The next 6 months of AI are likely to be the most wild we have seen so far. Everything keeps scaling up. More hardware, more model progress, more product knowledge, more AI momentum, more product market fit." Now, Logan went to pains to say that this wasn't inspired by any specific thing. He said, "It was just inspired by me feeling the progress and then looking out over the next 6 months and being reminded it's going to continue." So bringing it back to GPT-5, what part of that excitement can we attribute to this new model? The main expectation around GPT-5 is that it will represent a unification of OpenAI's technology. In a recent podcast, OpenAI's head of developer experience, Romain Hewitt, said, "We're truly excited not to just make a net new great frontier model, we're also going to unify our two series. The breakthrough of reasoning in the O series and the breakthroughs in multimodality in the GPT series will be unified, and that will be GPT-5. One of the core promises is that GPT-5 will do away with model switching." In a Reddit AMA from May, OpenAI VP Jerry Tworek wrote, "GPT-5 is our next foundation model that is meant to just make everything our models can currently do better and with less model switching." Interestingly, he also referred to their operator agent as a, quote, product surface, suggesting perhaps that GPT-5 will feature tighter integration with agentic tools. Back in February, Sam Altman had said something similar about the model switching idea. In a post on X, he wrote, "We want AI to just work for you. We realize how complicated our model and product offerings have gotten. We hate the model picker as much as you do and want to return to magic unified intelligence." Now, this post was a couple weeks before GPT-5, and he said, "We will next ship GPT 4.5, the model we called Orion internally, as our last non-chain of thought model. After that, a top goal for us is to unify O-series models and GPT-series models by creating systems that can use all of our tools, know when to think for a long time or not, and generally be useful for a wide range of tasks." Now, getting a little bit more up to date, developer Buida Nak compiled some other nuggets of information gleaned from recent interviews and leaks. He expects a 256K context window, which would put GPT-5 roughly in line with most competitors, but not as large as Google's million token context window. Multimodality likely means we'll see native video, image, and audio inputs, and perhaps even outputs. Another current rumor is that OpenAI will adopt the mixture of experts architecture brought to prominence recently by several Chinese labs. This architecture means that only part of the model is engaged at a time, allowing for a higher number of total parameters while keeping inference costs down. There are estimates that inference costs could be 60% lower per token than GPT-4o. Memory is another factor that could see improvement, which would lead to more performant agent operation as well. Not commented. For builders, this likely means you have to rethink prompt design for giant context, expect richer tool calling that mixes text with time-based media, and budget for lower latency, cheaper API calls despite a larger model. GPT-5 looks less like a parameter bump and more like a systems integration milestone, folding multiple specialized capabilities into one cohesive model. And frankly, even without the rumors, that seems like a reasonable assumption. Since its release, OpenAI has been tacking features onto GPT-4, including things like memory and updated image generation. GPT-5 represents their first opportunity to bake these features in natively, allowing the model to be trained from the ground up on how to make best use of the tools it has access to. VrasserX commented, GPT-5 might be the first model that feels like true AGI. If OpenAI integrates full O4 or O4 Pro reasoning plus agentic tool use within the chain of thought, operator, codex, and deep research, we're talking about a model that can think, plan, act, and adapt like never before. AGI vibes incoming. Now, one of the reasons we think that GPT-5 is nearing release is that users are starting to report seeing a ton of A/B testing of something new on the platform. Specifically, it appears that OpenAI is testing how reasoning traces are presented. One ex-user, for example, suggested that a recent interaction they had looked like hybrid reasoning. In response to a prompt using the 4o model, which again is not a natively reasoning model, ChatGPT said, "Just a moment, I want to give this one the extra thought it deserves." That certainly would imply that OpenAI has figured out a way to differentiate between the prompts that should use reasoning and those that shouldn't. Another interesting feature on that post is a button labeled Answer Now that presumably cuts the reasoning short and forces the model to just spit out an answer based on how much thinking it's done at that point. One of the problems with hybrid reasoning is that if the model starts thinking and goes down some rabbit hole, there hasn't historically been a good way to make it stop. So again, while it's just a guess, it seems like Answer Now might be a UX change to address that issue. So if the idea is that GPT-5 will natively bring together all of these features that have been bolted on, perhaps we also need a slightly different way of thinking about what an LLM actually is. Karina Nguyen, a researcher and product staffer at OpenAI, recently posted Super Intelligent Operating System. Believe it or not, she is not talking about my startup. Instead, cryptically, it sounds like it's sort of what's being described in the rumors of GPT-5. Rather than treating it like an individual model you interact with, GPT-5 kind of sounds like an AI operating system. TJ Ridgway writes, "So GPT-5 is the AGI framework. This is why they're all pivoting to superintelligence discussion, the one ring to rule them all." In response to the idea that superintelligence won't just be a scaled LLM, he added, "Yes, I pretty much agree. What I'm saying here is this roadmap they put out is the framework through which AGI will be achieved, not AGI itself. I believe innovations in long-term memory are also a crucial aspect that is just now being explored." It is worth noting that back in January, Sam Altman did mention, quote, "We're now confident we know how to build AGI as we have traditionally understood it." Still, a practical question after all of this is whether any of it will be enough to amaze heavy AI users. Specifically, as much as we're summing up all of these different rumors here, none of them really suggest, at least not yet, a massive change in capability or anything particularly new. Instead, these rumors all focus on bringing everything together and making the user experience more seamless. Chubby, for example, wrote, "For hardcore users, GPT-5 will be a bit of a disappointment if the rumors are to be believed. Rumor has it that Sam Altman is not particularly impressed with the performance and improvements compared to older models such as GPT-4o and O3. GPT-5 is more of an iterative improvement that certainly shows significant leaps in benchmarks, but compared to benchmarks such as reasoning at the end of last year, O1, or deep research at the beginning of this year, GPT-5 is more of the same, just slightly better. In this respect, GPT-5 is probably not the qualitative leap that hardcore users had hoped for." And yet, Chubby wrote, maybe the hardcore users are not the point. They continue, "For the vast majority, however, GPT-5 will be a quantum leap. When I talk to friends, I almost always hear the same thing. ChatGPT is great. They say it will help them get more out of their university studies, answer all their questions, and even provide excellent advice on medical matters. When asked which model they would use for this, the answer is always the same. GPT-4o, of course. They either don't know anything about O3, or due to the complicated nomenclature, they consider O3 to be the inferior model because it's older, because 3 becomes before 4. Some people think that simply. However, GPT-5 will be an all-in-one model. Depending on the request, the appropriate amount of inference will be applied and reasoning will be carried out. This means that all those who previously used only GPT-4o will suddenly receive much better answers with GPT-5 than before. because they did not use or were not aware of the full strength and range of ChatGPT's model capacity. Now, this I think is a super important point. The vast majority of ChatGPT users, even at this stage, are not subscribers. They haven't used deep research and they don't understand what a reasoning model is, or at least how it's different. In other words, removing ChatGPT's model selector isn't just a minor UX improvement. Instead, it fundamentally will broaden the average user's experience by making all of the myriad features available to them without them having to know about what those features actually do. Think back to the DeepSeek moment at the beginning of the year. The viral breakthrough was not that there was better reasoning. The full version of o1 had already been out for 2 months and was clearly the better model. The innovation was simply putting reasoning right in front of users who had never experienced it before with the full reasoning traces on display. The average comment about DeepSeek wasn't just that it was powerful, it's that it was really cute or cool because it talked to itself before responding. OpenAI then has the opportunity to give the average inexperienced user that type of moment of delight with GPT-5. Even if every single feature already exists and the performance bump is minor, improved accessibility is a huge deal for the average GPT-5 user. And yet, I do think that unfortunately for OpenAI, that still might not be enough. Or at least not for long. It's very clear that in the wake of Mark Zuckerberg's poaching spree, the stakes for OpenAI are building. Zuck's superintelligence team is now largely in place, and then it's worth then trying to speculate on what their big play is. In the lead up to the release of Llama 4 during the spring, Zuckerberg set off on a media tour discussing his AI plans at length. There were really 2 big themes. The first was making an automated advertising platform, and the second was introducing AI friends to Meta's social media platforms. Hold aside what you think of those ideas. It is pretty undeniable that they're both fairly modest ambitions. In other words, neither is something you would necessarily want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in payroll to achieve. And so whether Zuckerberg is aiming for a straight-shot superintelligence play or iterative model releases that are actually keeping up with and pushing the state of the art, he clearly has something much larger than just better advertising automation in mind. One observation that many have made is that Zuckerberg has put together a team of experts with a wide range of skills. He poached the reasoning team lead from OpenAI, a multimodal expert from Google, an edge model developer from Apple, and the list goes on. In other words, a full-stack team capable of recreating everyone OpenAI or anyone else has on offer from scratch. Point being, whatever they're building, it's not AI friends. Altman says he's not concerned. In an interview at the Sun Valley conference, he was asked how he's feeling about the talent war and responded, "Fine, good. We have obviously an incredibly talented team, and I think they really love what they're doing. Obviously, some people will go to different places. There's a lot of excitement, I guess you could say, in the industry, but no, I think we feel fine." At the same time, it is pretty clearly undeniable that whether Sam is a part of this or not, OpenAI leadership in general is starting to feel the heat. We've seen changes in compensation packages, memos that suggest the feeling was of having their house broken into. And so for this reason, I think that the GPT-5 moment, whether OpenAI wants it to be or not, is going to be seen as hugely significant and reflective of the state of play when it comes to the broader industry. Back in April, even before this aggressive talent war, Altman tweeted, "Change of plans. We are going to release O3 and O4 Mini after all, probably in a couple of weeks, and then do GPT-5 in a few months. There are a bunch of reasons for this, but the most exciting one is that we are going to be able to make GPT-5 much better than we originally thought. We also found it harder than we thought it was going to be to smoothly integrate everything, and we want to make sure we have enough capacity to support what we expect to be unprecedented demand." So just how soon is this thing coming? Ultimately, that among all of this is the biggest rumor. We have gotten a bunch of hints recently from OpenAI insiders that something big is coming in the next week or two, but I also think that OpenAI knows the stakes of GPT-5. I don't think that they're feeling so much pressure that they're going to release something that is anything less than extremely impressive. Still, maybe we have an exciting midsummer treat coming up. Certainly the chorus of rumors is getting louder, and as they get more credible, I will be sure to let you know it here. For now, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Until next time, peace.